Hi, welcome to the channel Step In Deeper. This is Kath, where I am going to try to take you deeper into the Word of God. Today we're going to study Psalm 39, and I love some of the verses in this psalm, just some great ways to pray, and so I'm excited about going into it. So let's start with reading something from Psalm 119, and we are going to read verse 24. Deal with your servant according to your love. That's that word hesed. And teach me your decrees. Lord, we do pray that you would deal with us according to your love, according to your loving kindness and mercy, Lord. And I pray that you would teach us as we read your word. Give us understanding, give us insight so that we will draw closer to you. Amen. So let us look at Psalm 39 today. And we're going to read through it first, and then we'll start to look up some of the words, because there are a few words that I think would be really helpful for us to see what the Hebrew is today. So it says this: I said, I will watch my ways and keep my tongue from sin. I will put a muzzle on my mouth while in the presence of the wicked. So I remained utterly silent, not even saying anything good, but my anguish increased. My heart grew hot within me. While I meditated, the fire burned, and then I spoke with my tongue. Show me, Lord, my life's end and the number of my days. Let me know how fleeting my life is. You have made my days a mere handbreadth. The span of my years is as nothing before you. Everyone is but a breath, even those who seem secure. Surely everyone goes around like a mere phantom. In vain they rush about heaping up wealth, without knowing whose it will finally be. But now, Lord, what do I look for? My hope is in you. Save me from my transgressions. Do not make me the scorn of fools. I was silent. I would not open my mouth, for you are the one who has done this. Remove your scourge from me. I am overwhelmed by the blow of your hand. When you rebuke and discipline anyone for their sin, you consume their wealth like a moth. Surely everyone is but a breath. Hear my prayer, Lord. Listen to my cry for help. Do not be deaf to my weeping. I dwell with you as a foreigner, a stranger, as all my ancestors were. Look away from me, that I may enjoy life again, before I depart and am no more. Wow. So, first thing we like to do is put a category on a psalm. And this is another one of those that is hard to kind of pick what the category is, because it's part a prayer for help, but it also draws on the songs of thanksgiving and even has a little bit of instruction in it. So we're going to write that on there so that we know it's a little bit of all of that. So we're going to write down it's a little bit of a prayer for help, but then there's also thanksgiving and instruction. And I saw that as we were reading, there was definitely some things that we can learn from this. Plus, just a beautiful way to pray. So one of my commentaries said this, and I thought this was just really good. It said, the best way to understand this poem is as a pained cry for help, which draws on the style of thanksgiving and the vocabulary of wisdom in order to launch a passionate theological witness that is both spoken to God and against God. So that's just kind of like a little summary of what this is all about. So let's look at a few words here. So it starts with this: I said, I will watch my ways and keep my tongue from sin. So the word said here, in some of the commentaries said that this could be not necessarily a physical speaking out loud, but could be your internal thoughts. So like, I'm thinking in my mind that I will watch my ways and keep my tongue from sin, and I'll put a muzzle on my mouth while I'm in the presence of the wicked. So this isn't like a prayer. It's just a statement or a decision on behalf of this person that's writing the psalm that they will keep quiet, right? I'm going to remain quiet. I'm not even going to say anything good. I'm just going to be quiet. So that's basically what this part is talking about. Now, the result of him being quiet, as we can see, is right here. but my anguish increased. My heart grew hot within me. So they're suffering at the hands of someone, we don't know who, and they're trying to stay quiet, but then their anguish is increasing and they're getting to the point where they feel like they need to say something. But I think when you're looking up here at the keeping quiet, they're trying to keep quiet because they don't want to say anything wrong. I mean, we're talking about speaking in the presence of the wicked, and how when something goes wrong and you want to like say something or just blast, with your mouth and say some things that you shouldn't say, you never want to do that in the presence of the unbelievers. And what kind of witness is that, right? And so I think that that's where we see this person who wrote this, David, at, he's watching his ways because he doesn't want to sin. He doesn't want to say anything wrong. So he's just going to keep his mouth shut, not even say anything good. And it's like he's determined that he's not going to offend God. So that's where he's at. But then, as you see, my heart grew hot within me. While I meditated, the fire burned, and then I spoke. So it's like he couldn't take it anymore. And now I have to say something, is basically where he's at. And really, this is similar to Job, who remained silent for a while before erupting into speech. And so it's kind of that same thing. I stayed quiet long enough, and now I just can't anymore. And so then there's this like, I'm going to just have out and just say it. So David's silence was broken, actually in the best way, because he went to God, right? Instead of blasting whoever it is that's coming against him, then I spoke with my tongue, show me, Lord. See, immediately he goes to God. So I'm going to write that in my margin over here, is just when in anger, go to God. Okay, so that's really what happened here. He's like, I am going to stay quiet. But then when he does finally get to the point where he can't take it anymore, he's going to speak. He goes immediately to God. He doesn't do the blasting of someone like here. And really, to me, this is one of those verses that I think is just a really good principle. So I'm going to mark that one. This whole section right here. I will watch my ways and keep my tongue from sin, especially when I'm with the wicked or around the wicked. And I'm just going to make the little banner like that here. So I've just got the little banner there, but I think that that's just such a good principle. So here we are, show me. And one of the commentaries said to me, it's like, it said this quote for verse 4, show me, Lord, my life's and the number of my days. Let me know how fleeting my life is. They say it's not a reflection necessarily of the brevity of existence, but a request for God to disclose to him how long this suffering is going to be that he's going through. So I thought that was an interesting way to look at that. The audience definitely is God. He's talking to God here at this point, and he's almost building up an argument for the Lord to act. Like, here's what's going on. I need you to act. So that's basically what we see in verses 4, 5. He's still talking about, like life is fleeting. Everything is but a breath. Then he goes into verses 6 through 8. And instead of talking about the brevity of life or something like that, this section he starts to talk about right here. In vain they rush about and heap up wealth. So this section is more about the vanity of human effort. Like, what are we doing? And so I'm just going to write that. So we got the word vain, but I'm just going to write the vanity of human effort. Okay, because he starts to say, and this will be 6 through 8. So we're going to do 6 through 8, this section here. So here's what he's talking about when he's saying like the vanity of human effort. Look at, they rush around heaping up wealth without knowing where it's finally going to be. Okay, so there's that. It's just vain. that's what he's saying. Like, I don't want to live like that. But now, Lord, what do I look for? What do I look for? My hope is in you. And that's really the crux of all of this, is even though I'm going through the difficult time and this is what I'm going through and I'm trying to keep quiet and I finally say something, I'm angry, but I'm going to come to God and I'm going to show him, like, when is this all going to end? Human effort is vain. My hope is in you. Save me from my transgressions. Do not make me the scorn of fools. Okay, then he's like, I was silent, I would not open my mouth, for you are the one who has done this. Remove your scourge from me. I am overcome by the blow of your hand. And so again, it's this phrasing of God, there's something going on that it's you doing it, right? Remove this scourge from me. Is it the scourge of people who are coming against him? But then he says, I am overcome by the blow of your hand. And it's almost like this, again, I'm being punished and I'm assuming that it's at God's hand. Because then he says this, when you rebuke and discipline anyone for their sins, you consume their wealth like moth. Surely everyone is but a breath. So he's talking about, like, I'm going through this difficult time and it's because of you, God, and this is what will happen. So that's basically what he's talking about there. And then verse 12 is a prayer again, right? So here we're saying he's assuming that God is punishing him, maybe for discipline. But then again, we have a prayer here. Hear my prayer, Lord. Listen to my cry for help. So there it is, that again, coming before the Lord, do not be deaf to my weeping. So he's again coming and saying to the Lord, I'm going through a difficult time. Here's what's happening. And part of this, as we can see by the word, save me from my transgressions. This is very similar to Psalm 38, which we saw being penitential. I'm going through all these things because of my sin. And here we see it again. Save me from my transgressions. Don't make me a scorn. I'm having a difficult time. You're the one that's doing it to me. See, again, so there's that assumption again that God is doing those things because of his sin. So that's basically what we're seeing there. And then again, we go to that prayer. Hear my prayer, Lord. Listen to my cry for help. Do not be deaf to my weeping. I dwell with you as a foreigner. Look away from me that I may enjoy life again. It's almost like he's saying, you have come against me because of all of my sin, and I need you to stop doing that against me. And if you keep doing it, I'm going to be no more. So quite an interesting psalm as far as you can see the mindset of David when he wrote this, that again, he's feeling like his sin is there and God is punishing him because of his sin. Now, do we take this as a doctrinal statement? No, we take this as someone who is going through a difficult time and this is their cry to God. And so it's just a good example of how we feel when we're going through a difficult time, and how sometimes we will turn to God and say, I am going through this difficult time because of you, because of your discipline, because of your hand on me. But I think that the key again is to just go back to that prayer, which is, hear my prayer, Lord. Listen to my cry for help. Do not be deaf to my weeping. Just to be able to go to the Lord and say, hear me. And that hear is probably the word Shema, which is hear and do. God, I want you not just to physically hear the words, but to do something about this. And he's pretty bold here in turning to the Lord and saying, please just turn away from me, like then I can enjoy life again, because your heavy hand won't be on me in my guilt. So just an interesting way to pray. But that's just a sum of the whole psalm. I do think that verses 1 and 2 are great verses, and I think really a great way to pray. I will watch my ways and keep my tongue from sin. I will put a muzzle on my mouth when I'm in the presence of the wicked. What a way to pray and ask God to just help us with the words that come out of our mouth. So, Lord, I thank you for this psalm. I thank you for the things that we've learned from it, the prayers that we see that we can mimic in our own life, the thought of when we're in sin, that your hand is heavy on us. Lord, I pray that as we struggle sometimes with unconfessed sin, that we would bring it immediately to you, that we would not turn to you in anger and think that you're the one that's doing all these things against us, when you're just trying to pull us back into your presence and into a good walk with you. And so I thank you for doing that for us. I thank you also that you love us with an everlasting love. Amen. Thank you for joining me today.